Hello, lovely viewers. It's your girl Adele, and I welcome you all to our channel, Praiz Tv GH. Today is all about your favorite mentor, and today our mentor for today is none other than Apostle Cleophas Quobby Asante. And I don't want you to go anywhere. He's going to bless us with his glorious life story. I know you are interested, and your ears are itching to know what he has for us. So just stick and stay with us. Thank you. Apostle, welcome.
Thank you, and you're welcome. I'm very glad for having me. Afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending on the location of whoever that is watching us. And I say that I'm very glad for having me. You're welcome.
Okay, thank you very much. We are also very glad you're having us too. So, Apostle, I just want you to tell us some things about yourself, your marital status, your education, your occupation. Just tell us something.
All right, thank you. Well, Quobby Asante was born in Techiman a certain year on the 5th of March to Madam Comfort Akwesua Fosuya and the late Nana Befi Apo of Nkranza Odomasi, who was the chief then. And it is so interesting to note that I am the 11th born to my father out of the 14 children. And to my mother, I am the 3rd born out of the 5 children also as well. And I'm married, of course, to one wife with 2 handsome, blessed sons of God also as well. And I started my early life in Techiman. As I said, my home, as I got to see, wasn't there so much Christian endowed life. I didn't come from the house where you wake up in the morning and you are being woken up with hymns and songs of praising and the devotions and morning prayers and stuff like that. But then we were going to church as well. And there is one significant thing about me, that I was born to a chief, and my mother's father also was a chief. So my grandfather a chief, and my father as well was a chief. Yet we believed so much in God. Our life was founded in God. And so in my early days, I started schooling at Methodist kindergarten in Techiman by the Methodist church, which is still there now. And continue at the Methodist primary school all through to, I remember, JSS then, the now JHS. And somewhere around 1998, 2000, interestingly, one of my teachers who taught me at the JHS 1 and 2 level saw me, looked at me, and apparently he was also a friend to my mom. So he used to come to our house. Little did I know that he had communicated to my mom that, looking at the way I work hard, put in a lot of effort in class, he would want to take me to Kumasi to continue my education there. And so I had a little bit of educational life also in Kumasi. And it wasn't so much a pleasant stay. It gave me some bitter experiences, because this person, I've lost contact, I've lost track of him. I wish he would have been around in contact to see where Asante is now and what the Lord is doing through Asante now, because I remember, and I can say that he deceived my mom, deceived me, and a lot of things. But you know, God always has his plan, The Bible says in Proverbs that many are the plans on a man's heart, but it is only the counsel of the Lord that shall stand. And so the experiences and the life I had in Kumasi, Abripo specifically. Interestingly, now, if you're taking me to Abripo, I wouldn't be able to locate the house where I lived. Yes, because I think in as much as I love to sometimes open the chapters of that part of my life, I in a bit also taught it to let go of certain aspects of this my life because of the bitter experiences. It was at this point I learned that in my life, if someone is talking and testifying about their bitter experiences in life, I can also have something to say, because it is in Abripo, having left the comfort of my family, my home, that I slept in a room without a door, without a window, without a ceiling. And little did I know until one night that it has rained heavily. I woke up and realized that I have been drenched all over. My mattress had turned to be a canoe that is sunk down, because I realized that the room that I was sleeping in, the room was also more like a perforated dish. Everything was raining down on me. It got to a point sometimes I have to eat gari alone with salt, because I wanted to pursue my education in Kumasi. But I woke up one day and I said, I don't think this is what my mother is aware of. And so I have to find means to let my mother know. So I told the people that I brought certain things which I think I don't need them anymore. So I want to send them back and come. So went and gave the whole ordeal to my mom. And it will interest you to know, when my mother saw me in my first appearance, the first thing, without listening to my story, he told me, drop your bag where you are, run straight to the barbering salon, get your hair done before you come to tell me why you are here. This alone, for a mother to give such a welcome address to a son, tells you that it wasn't a pleasant stay that I had over there. But I thank God, it has taught me everything. So back from there, I came back to continue and complete my education at Techiman GHS around 2000. And so from there, I stayed for another 1 year because life wasn't so good. So my mother couldn't push me through for that same year. I had to wait till the following year, and then I had admission to Techiman Secondary School, now Techiman Senior High, and it continues. And so,
okay, so your occupation right now?
Well, that also opens another chapter of my journey in life. After finishing my senior secondary school, 2004, it took time. I had a desire to pursue civil engineering. So from the science that I studied, I was quite good. The Lord had blessed me. I was quite good. I had something that could have taken me through, but as I mentioned earlier on, that the home wasn't so much good financially to take me through. And I remember before we will sit for our final exam, another significant thing also happened in my life. I had an experience that took me to the police cells. A woman bluntly lied on me, deceived everyone. While I was preparing to write my exam, I was then pursuing a court case as well to defend myself of a case that I knew nothing about, and that case ended up nowhere because the woman herself decided that she wouldn't pursue the case any further. So I had to work a little as a young man to gather something because I was still zealous of continuing my education. But I realized that the civil engineering is going to demand a lot financially. So at a point in time, I have to revisit and restructure my dream. So I decided to enter the health sector, and to narrow it down, I bought a form somewhere 2005 to Kintampo School of Health to pursue medical assistant. I had admission, but I couldn't. 2006, the same school, to narrow it down again, field technician. I had admission, but I couldn't. 2007, Borga School of Nursing, had an admission, but I couldn't pursue. Until 2008, that the Lord brought me by His way to Tamale College of Nursing and Midwifery, where I started pursuing diploma in general nursing. So as we speak now, I'm a registered professional holding diploma in general nursing and working with Tamale Teaching Hospital as well. Yeah.
Well, viewers, you've heard it all. Now, being a nurse, how did he start all of a sudden? Then he's blessing our generation so much with God. We want to know that aspect. How did it all start, the journey?
I would say it's amazing. Paul in 2 Corinthians was given an account, and he said that I was not part of the disciples, but have I also, Paul, not seen Jesus Christ? I wasn't part of the disciple that walked with him, but I, Paul, being the least of all the apostles, had also seen Jesus Christ. And so, as I mentioned earlier on, coming from a home, it's amazing. My grandfather that I mentioned was a chief, but he also helped in founding a church that is called the Brotherhood Church, then in Techiman. So my mother and my grandmother they were rooted in that church. And so time came, my mother started taking us to the Praiz Church as a little boy, where I saw myself growing up. And I remember when I came to Tamale, I continue as a Presbyterian, fellowshipping and worshiping with the Praiz Church. But then, earlier on in my early days, I never knew Jesus Christ. Though I was going to church, but I never knew him. I never worship him, serving him wholeheartedly as by the grace of God I'm doing now. So it all happened one day that I was in the house while I was in the NTC, that in my room I felt like someone was just talking to me, which I couldn't understand, didn't know who that voice was. It wasn't a voice in my ears, but I was hearing this voice in my spirit. And I realized that the voice just shut down all my nerves. I couldn't think of anything of myself. I couldn't do anything of myself. And remember, in my NTC class, I wasn't the notorious type. I wasn't the noisy type, being calm. But right from that day's encounter, I realized that my life suddenly took a different turn. I started joining and fellowshipping the Nursing Christian Fellowship, NCF for short, in campus. Then all of a sudden, I saw myself becoming so active and vibrant. I wasn't a union executive, but I became so active, vibrant in the NUBSG activities, to the point that at that time, I was part of, in fact, I was the person that put together all the pieces of documents to make a constitution for the NUBSG church then. Became very instrumental figure with the union executives, the president, then Hebert. Hebert is now a session member in one of the Presby churches. And so one day we had a field prayers, and there was a gathering of all the union leaders, and they were praying. So during the all night, they called and said, anyone here desiring for the gift of God should step forward into the middle. And I went. So they were praying for people. A lot of them. The NCF president then was Jackson Combat. He's also a powerful man of God now. So Combat came, laid hands on me, left. Then my union president, Hebert, came. The moment Hebert stood in front of me, lay hands on me, I realized that a sudden cold fell on me. I couldn't do anything. Started speaking in an unknown language. The only thing I can say from that moment is that I woke up at dawn around 6 a.m. I was still on the field, and they were still holding me down with dust and dirt all over me. So right from then, it was like you are trying to do something that you are not sure of. You are taking a step that you are not sure of standing or falling. You are making an initiative to run where you don't even know who you are handing over a certain baton into. And so it started from there. And then, so I remember the whole thing started that friends will call me, friends whom I left back at Techiman will call me. They will start narrating their problems and their issues. And I'm like, these are people who knows me, have known me among them. What have they heard? What have they seen? And it's like they are telling their problems, which is unusual. So some of them, I will encourage them. I will pray with them. I didn't know what was happening. I didn't know what I was doing. I've never been told, having been called as an intercessor, as an apostle, as a prophet, I had no idea. But I kept on receiving calls and praying with people until one day, a friend who was also a senior at NTC invited me to a meeting with an apostle of God all the way from Accra, Apostle Joshua Emisa, to have a meeting in Tamale called Rims of Glory Professionals International Network, Rugby. So I attended. So when I attended the meeting, during the ministration service, the man preached powerfully. Then he pointed at me and called me and said, "Young man, stand up." So I stood. Then he turned to Prophet Emmanuel J. Yeboah and said, as I looked at him, I see him as a bridge, a big bridge. I see him as a big bridge that so many people are running and walking through him. And they are crossing through him to get to the other side of the fulfillment of their destinies. And everyone that uses him to cross to that side rejoices and they are happy. So amazingly, I never understood why I'm being designated as a bridge. So I took a car from Tamale to look at the Yape and Bupe bridges together to understand what a bridge is and why should it have a significant meaning to what I'm becoming and what God has called me to be. And so I looked at the bridge and I saw people walking on the same bridge. I saw structures around the bridge. I saw water running under the bridge. I saw heavy-duty trucks with heavy loads running on the bridge. And I realized that some of the trucks, as they are walking, moving, running, passing by the bridge makes some sounds, which means that there is some tension going on within the bridge, but yet the bridge never breaks. So I came back and I saw myself that if God has called me to be a bridge, it means that so many lives will run through me, so many people will walk through me, so many people will come in contact with me, and so many things will walk underneath me. And I gave myself up and said that from henceforth, whatever the Lord wills, his will be done. And so this became the beginning of Asante as a called servant of God. Thank you.
Well, viewers, wow, this is so powerful. Okay, so now about your ministry, Quobby Asante's ministry. We want to know how it all started, because you said you are a Presbyterian.
Yeah.
So what happened all of a sudden? Then we have this powerful ministry out there that is really saving souls.
That is very powerful and challenging aspect of it all. Take note that I never said I was. I am a Presbyterian, and proud to say that I'm still a Presbyterian, and fellowshipping with the Unity Presby Church Sakasaka of the Presbyterian Church of Ghana. It so happens that if you can recollect from the beginning of my days, I told you that I didn't come from so well home financially, and so I tasted poverty, I tasted hardship, I tasted challenging times. So while in NTC, when I saw the sudden life coming, I saw also a certain compassion, a certain thunderbolt of the need to help people who are in need in my own capacity, that I will be able to support them. And so started with some few friends in Techiman that we visit orphanage homes to make donations with one brother and a friend who is also amazingly, who is now a chief and a pastor, a very powerful man of God, evangelist Michael Akwesi Amponsa. And so from the spectrum of charity donations and charity works, started doing this. And somewhere around 2013, 2014, with the Presby Church. While I was in the church, as I said, that the shy type in a bit, also reserved. So I would travel out of Tamale at weekends to go outside for programs, for ministrations, for meetings and otherwise, and then we'll come back. So in the Presby Church in Sakasaka, as at that time, from 2012, I think late 2011, 2012, where I started joining the church, people never knew me as doing anything in the church, because I was playing in a low key, not showing for anything that is in me, because I saw so many powerful servants also in the church. So it happens that there was a group of young men from WA, University of Development Studies, that came to have a program. I remember Tony, I remember Brother Raymond, I remember a prophet of God, KKD, I remember Selom, my very own Sami was part. I remember Prophetess Gertrude Akosia Nyako, who is now also married to a brother and a powerful Reverend Minister Patrick A.J. McEagle, came around to have a program in the church with the youth. The team was called a House of Prayer, all the way from Wa. So they came to have a program, a week-long program with the church, Unity Presby Church. And I was part of. When I heard the announcement that there's going to be a prayer meeting, I am someone who was so much interested in prayer, so I decided to be part of it. So we go in the morning and in the evening, and in the morning we'll go and pray. During those times, I completed my course in 2011. So all throughout 2011, I wasn't doing anything, wasn't going anywhere, I was just pursuing the things of God, just keeping myself in the room. And so I took advantage of that time, the week-long activity, to be part of them. So I never knew people were observing, but realized that while the prayer was going on, praying, after the prayer meeting, then they said they are setting up a hand of the house of prayer in Tamale, specifically with the youth in Unity Presby Church. So they called me in. I took the challenge and then joined. And a new thing started from there. So then I was active, became the forerunner of the house of prayer in Unity Presby Church, until a new wind, I can call a turbulence, started blowing. Quobby Asante Ministries was nowhere during all this period. But one day, after our program with the house of prayer and the church called Divine Encounter by the house of prayer with the church, and after the program, the leadership of the church called me as the leader of the house of prayer and some of the executives, and they brought in a lot of shortfalls, brought in a lot of challenges, brought in a lot of mistakes that we committed during the program. And while they were rolling down all our mistakes, I sat down and a thought was running through my mind that we are your children, your sons and daughters. So if we've done something as bringing in this light, a thunderbolt in the house of God, I think we first deserve some commendations before the whip of correction was set in. But it wasn't like that. So the backlash was more than the commendations. So after the 2015 encounter, I realized that the whole thing started ongoing. One fault finding after another, one problem after another, one backlash after another, one challenge after another. Today you are seeing the session, the next day you are seeing the session, until it got to a point that I was stripped off the leadership position as the leader of our house of prayer. I was also, should I call, banned or another way from a lot of the church's activity, to the point that I shouldn't do anything as a forefront, as a forerunner in the church among the youth, to the point that I remember expressly the Reverend Minister quoting, should I say, my crime or my judgment, passing it out, said that I shouldn't gather the youth anywhere, either in prayer, in teaching, in any of that. And I became a challenge. And so I realized that God has blessed me with a gift. God has called me. I don't know the turn that this is going to lead to, but I have respect for the leadership of the church. So I went into praying room, kept on praying, until one day the Lord spoke to me and said, I've given you my gift. I've laid my mantle on you. I've given you the rod and the staff as a shepherd and a leader. Even if it is 1 or 2 sheep that I've given you, I've made you a leader and a shepherd of my flocks. So those that I've given you, who should take care of them? And from henceforth, the birth of Quobby Asante Ministries started. But I was keen in keeping the norms and the ordinances of the Presby Church because I love my church, and so never wanted to do anything against the statutes of the church. And so that became the birth of Quobby Asante Ministries from there.
Wow, it's so amazing. Okay, Apostle, I want to know, do you have any mentors you look up to?
Yeah, have mentors, have fathers. Paul said to Timothy, he said, "My little children, to whom I travail again and again." And even Jesus pointed out to a father. And so I think call to ministry, definitely you must have people that you will look up to, people that will pray with you, people that will direct you, people that will help you. And so I do have mentors, and I do have a father as well.
Okay, please, would you want to share with us who they are?
Yeah, remember as I started from the days of NTC, I mentioned a powerful apostle by name Apostle Joshua Emisa, and thank God he's still a father and he's still holding my hands, leading me in ministry. And along the path, God also connected me and the ministry to a powerful prophet of God, a powerful preacher, a powerful revelatory bank. We call him the Revelation Bank. When he's preaching, when he's speaking, you know that he's also blessed. By name Onyame Chiame Samuel Labichima of Kingswood Family Chapel in Kumasi. And so he's also a father and a mentor, guiding and leading me.
Wow, okay, we bless God so much. And from what he's saying, viewers, you can see that they are really playing very vital roles in his life. We just want you to tell us, what role specifically are they playing in your life?
I had a challenge with the leadership of my church, Unity Presby Church Sakasaka. At that time, I was crying all night. I was broken and shattered. I needed someone that I can fall on. And these two fathers became pillars and foundations of my life and the pieces putting together now. I remember Daddy would call me and say, Asante, I still know and I believe in you. I believe in your ministry. I believe that you are called. Keep up. Don't fall away. My prayers are with you, and we are praying with you. And Onyame Chiame will say, Odi, you are called by God. Don't look at anyone. Don't look at anything. Keep praying. And whatever God has deposited inside of you, you will run with it, and you will get to a perfect destination with it. And so these fathers encouraged me, helped me, not just prayers, supporting me with my programs, with my activities and everything, even financially. Up until now, they're supporting the Quobby Asante Ministries, and I'm so proud, and I thank God for their lives.
Thank you, Apostle. Now, people watching us, you have people that are looking up onto you. You are people's mentor. So what advice would you give to those that are looking up to you?
The advice that I will give is this: that on the highways of life, know that you have a purpose that is always going to stay alive in you. It will take you to make that purpose fruitful. And so as you come along with a challenge, as you come face to face with a hill, know that you will climb and persevere, pursue after that purpose, and strengthen and encourage yourself that in the end, the vision is yet for an appointed time, but surely it shall come to pass.
The vision is yet for an appointed time, and surely it will come to pass. This is what your mentor is telling you today. So all too soon, we have come to the end of my mentor, and I know you've learned so much, and we've been blessed by the apostle. I told you he's a blessing to our generation, and then we thank you so much for staying and sticking with us, and we hope that you've learned a lot and you've been blessed. So stay tuned for more interesting videos, and we are asking that you subscribe to our YouTube channel for more interesting videos as we come your way another time. Thank you very much.